Okay, finally we are live. Yeah, I had some connection issues there. I hope that you can hear me and see me. Um, Let me know if you can. Let me know if you are in the chat. The chat is only open for subscribers, by the way, to this channel. So if you're not already subscribed to this channel, then please consider doing so. Yeah, so we are going to talk about a topic that I think will not be trending for obvious reasons. It's not something that people seem to care about a lot. People seem to be quite happy with the current state of things. Okay, so it's working. Scott Sotonar, KP Heathen. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Yes, good to see that it is working. I want to get straight to the point here. So yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, so let's get to that. I will try to do live streams more often now. And hopefully the internet connection will be so that it doesn't mess up the sound or image. Let's just hope for that. Oh, I need to scratch my back. I can't reach my back, so let's see if I can use the chair a little bit. Okay. So yeah, let's get to that. So I want to, this is a good community. I enjoy our chats, and that's how I want to keep it. So I'm going to try to when we get trolls and haters here, I will from now on just say that something along the line. So we have such a good community here. Why do you come here and try to destroy that? Just go away. Ignoring them, contrary to popular opinion, doesn't always work or never works. So let's see. Okay, yeah. So I have I'll show you something. This is not interesting, but I'll show you that anyway. This is a tin whistle. I can't play the tin whistle, but I use it to scratch my back, which I have to do now. Really have to. So, yeah. Doing my best here with what I have. Okay. Echo chambers. So what I've been seeing during the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years is that new echo chambers have been created. And it seems to be the algorithms doing that. And the very simple explanation is that these algorithms work in such a way that they will feed people more content similar to the content that they have already been consuming or watching. Okay. And the mechanism seemed to be that there is now less room for diverse opinions within just less room for diverse opinions. I'll give you an example, because I think it's a perfect example. Now, I no longer associate myself with the prepper community. I would consider myself a prepper, but it's more like a private thing, right? But the reason that I don't, the way things are now, at least, I don't go on social media and I talk about prepping, is that I get so much hate when people who find me through that word, prepping and associated words, when they find out I'm not a conservative Christian, I get so much hate you can't imagine. Now, this is not going to be about Christianity. That's not what this is about. This is an example. This is an example. It proves that, or it tells me at least, that the algorithm or the algorithms have been creating an echo chamber where Christian conservative preppers have gathered, right? So when you have someone different there, which should be a good thing, then it can't be tolerated. And not only that, but this echo chamber that has then been created will strengthen its walls. And it works in such a way, I believe, that since there is no room for diverse opinions, diverse perspectives within the echo chamber, these people become almost like little children. These people become very immature, or they don't mature, and they won't be able to tolerate people who are not exactly like themselves. This is not a good thing, because you will be you're surrounding yourself with what we call in Norwegian, at least, yes people. People who won't criticize, who won't question, who will only nod and say, yes, we have the truth. And that's, I mean, you will see, I mean, it's the people, these people, they call them truthers, right? They know the truth. That's a big, huge thing, the truth. I know I have occasionally used that word, but I have used it when I'm very, very, very certain about the facts, right? So the fact that the algorithm gives you more of the same, feeds you more of the same, is in itself creating echo chambers. Not only that, I believe it's creating extremism, extreme opinions, extreme worldviews. And this is a perfect environment for, this is probably the reason why you see people going down these rabbit holes and they get more and more insane, right? So they will start with something that is sensible, thoughtful. They will be critical to things said by the government, for instance. And then they will say, whatever the government does, I will do the opposite. Really? Are you sure about that? I think that's very stupid. So when there's a solar eclipse, will you then be looking straight at the sun with no shaded glasses, nothing? because the government told you not to look at the sun during the solar eclipse. Right? I mean, these people, do they realize how stupid they sound? And then they move on further down the rabbit hole, and they, since they often lack the basic knowledge of physics and so on, they will arrive at the conclusion that the Earth is flat, and so on and so on. And they can go about in their daily lives and be on social media, and all these people are addicted to the smartphone, and the smartphone will feed them more of the same. And their views are not questioned because they are in an echo chamber. Another example is, and I think also this is a perfect example, I think the right word is Islamists, but anyone who knows a little bit about Islam, it's the religion itself. It's an extreme religion. Islam is an extreme religion. I don't like it. There is nothing good about it. I despise the foundation of it, and so these people, not all Muslims. There are people who are, they call themselves Muslims, but they will have a beer occasionally and so on, and eat chicken. And not talking about the normal people. I'm talking about those who get down on their knees and they pray several times a day, all that. They are protected, right? Their echo chamber, because it is a big, huge echo chamber with solid walls. They are protected by society, because they can't be criticized. They must be protected, and they go to they have their echo chambers on social media, and it works exactly in the same way. So it's like, that's where you get people who think it's a good idea to blow up some innocent people and buildings and stuff. That's where it starts. That's the environment for those extreme opinions, right? So this is like, I'm almost struggling finding the words here, because but I shouldn't, because this is so basic. This is so basic, and it should be very easy to understand how this works. So in my case, I would say that, well, first of all, I'm not an ideologue. I don't believe that anyone's religion or ideologies should be more important than our fellow human beings and our fellow apes and animals. And I think that we should just do what's sensible. Very often you are then termed a centrist, which is fine. You can call me whatever you like, I guess. But being a centrist, or being not an ideologue, being someone who just believes in what works, and just being sensible to the best of our abilities, being that person these days is seen as very right-wing. Isn't that funny? So now I'll be 52 soon, and I have not really changed my worldview much or at all for decades. But nobody called me like right wing like 10 or 20 years ago. No, I don't think that happened. But now, yeah, frequently. So that tells me that things have shifted towards a more extreme leftist worldview. Okay. Bjorn, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you for that donation. Let's see here. Hold on. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Let's see here. Yeah. So to summarize, these algorithms. Okay, here's what I think. I think that these algorithms should not be as powerful on social media because it creates echo chambers and it promotes extremism. Like YouTube used to be a good platform. It used to be subscription based. Like when you subscribe to a channel, the platform then show you the new videos made by those channels, right? That's how it should have been. I mean, if I subscribe to a channel, it's because I'm interested in those videos. But sadly, they went away from that, and they are now using an algorithm instead. So that's why the outdoor section is destroyed, well, completely destroyed. Now they will have, it needs to be, if you want to make an outdoors video, which at this point, it's almost pointless to do it if you care about the views, and if you've been on YouTube a few years, you do care about the views. You have to be a somewhat good-looking female flirting with the camera, or you have to do something that is sort of extreme. Oh, I almost died because it was 5 degrees below freezing. Oh, these dangerous animals are out there in the woods, or something like that. It's ridiculous and disgusting if you ask me. And the prepping community, it's how much prepping is there left? Not much. It's just a bunch of old guys like myself complaining about stuff and complaining about the Democrats in the USA. So that's not prepping. And if you try to make a video about prepping, like clean water or something like that, people don't care. People don't care. Outdoor boys. No. Yeah, I know the algorithm is pushing that channel. I shouldn't say more. There are things going on in the background. Let's just put it that way. Not everything is as it seems. Yeah, Google killed YouTube. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I do get less of the conservative hate here now. I think they're gone because I kicked them out. Yeah, Yuma says, if you're a centrist, the algorithm gets confused as if it were trying to put you in one extremist box. So true. Yes, that's so true. And you have basically on YouTube, it's very dominated by the USA or American culture. So you have the Christian conservatives, and we're there. They have a bullet point list, and you have to believe in these things. You have to believe that climate change has nothing to do. No, human activity has no effect on climate change. None. You have to believe that. You have to believe in Jesus and guns and the Bible, and you cannot believe in the process of evolution and so on. And then there are several other bullet points, and you have to subscribe to all of those. You have to agree with all of those bullet points. That's the Christian conservative side of that echo chamber, right? And then you have the fucking crazy leftist echo chamber. It's a big, huge echo chamber, and they have to. They also have their bullet point list. They have to believe that climate change is predominantly caused by human activity, like natural variations in nature doesn't really matter, and and you have to believe that there are a number of different genders, and that gender has nothing to do with your physiology, and you, I mean, yeah, they have sorts of crazy stuff there, and you have to believe in those things. And I think they're both insane. No, not insane, not clinically insane. Well, a lot of the people on the left there, they are insane clinically. I don't agree with any of these people. They seem to use their ideology so that they don't have to think. Yeah, yes. The people who think that they are, I don't know, at sexual non-gender, whatever. I don't know what they call themselves anymore. And here we get the people, thank you, climate change isn't caused by humans, and so on and so on, all that. I could bring you up in the woods here, and I could show you how it changes the microclimate when they chop down all the trees. But you wouldn't want to see that, because it would challenge your already established opinion, which is strengthened by the echo chamber that you are in. I'm very glad that you are here, because this is not an echo chamber. Now, I think that, will this change the future? Rumble is mentioned here. Are you on Rumble? The fact that you don't know that I'm on Rumble tells me that Rumble is not a good platform. I know that Rumble has a special deal with the larger creators. It's a very political platform, and it's not a fair platform. And it's I think I've made $20 so far, and I've Rumble, and I've been there for a few years. So no, I can't. I can't recommend Rumble. Just can't. I can't do this if I'm not getting any ad revenue. I just can't. Okay, climate change. How now? Here's the thing: people need to understand. You always seem to go to the extremes. You say human activity is not causing climate change, or you say human activity causes the climate change. None of those statements can be true, because it can be proven that that human activity causes some climate change. It's not zero. You have to be fucking stupid to believe it's zero. I can point and show you. We can take out the thermometer and measure the climate change in the microclimate, right? So it can't be zero. Is it 100%? No, it can't be 100%, right? It can't be 100% because we know that there are fluctuations and there are natural variations in climate. So not all of the climate change can be caused by human activity. Can we try to be intelligent about it? Can we try to put our emotions aside and just please be intelligent about this? First of all, I don't think any of us here are experts on these topics. I'm just using logic, and I suggest you guys do that as well. Please. And I'm talking to the people now writing a little bit stupid statements in the chat. Stop doing that. And please try to be less absolutist about this. Okay? No, not all experts are paid liars. If you go and if you have a complicated fracture, you have to go to the hospital, and you get to see an expert. What's it called? Well, a certain orthopedist. They're not paid liars. Again, let's try to be intelligent about this. Let's try not to be stupid and act like children throwing a temper tantrum. Let's try to be logical. It's so taxing to talk about this because it always ends like this. I'm not an expert on this. You are not an expert on this. Nick, okay. Yeah, people steal my videos. They like to try to make money on Odyssey by stealing my videos. They are thieves, and I hate it. What can I do? Yeah, I know it's not so this is a challenge. Okay, I know it's not a popular opinion that what I'm saying here. I could go and do. You realize what I'm talking about here? I tried to. Everything you're writing here is anecdotal. Okay, I shouldn't have used it as an example. Well, no, you know what? I should have used it as an example, as I just did, because it perfectly illustrates my point. Now you're all talking about climate change. Climate change, streaming music, it's very real. The climate is changing. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's move on. I will just say that I encourage everyone to get out of the echo chambers that it seems like you seem like to be in some echo chambers. And traveling is good. Traveling is good. You know, it's difficult to travel through India, for instance, and say that human activity does not affect the climate. It's very difficult to do that. I think it would be impossible to do that. Expanding deserts because of deforestation, it does change the climate. So yeah, lots of experts here. Lots of experts. Now, again, you know, here's what I will now say. There are books. Horror business, yes, I agree. I agree. I agree. I was a little bit disappointed to see this because I'm kind of disappointed. But yes, Veli says ignore trolls. Yeah, not all of those are trolls, but yeah. Okay. Here's what I would say. Books are good. Reading is good. It's amazing what we can learn when we read books. And when I read a book on a topic, I want to, you know, I tend to, if it's not a, you know, fiction, if it's not fiction, I prefer to read books written by someone who actually knows something about the topic. So that would be someone with an education in that in the set topic. That's a good thing to do. Traveling is also good. And this is something that I recently found out. And I'll tell you, and we'll get some words in here that will probably get people off the climate change hysteria here. And hysteria is when people say human activity doesn't cause climate change, or when people say human activity causes all the climate change. You see what I did there? Try to think. Passports. So YouTube, in their attempt, well, I've made some videos on the main channel about, I guess we can call it men's issues, masculinity, and so on. So of course, YouTube then started pushing videos, a certain type of videos, for me, and in my, you know, suggested list. Typically, my age, you could tell that these are the guys, you know, these are the guys on steroids, and they come out of their gyms and they sit in a podcast studio, and they are talking about how you know, masculinity and health masculinity, and it's all fucking ridiculous. It's all not all that they're saying is ridiculous. And to be honest with you, I haven't watched more than a few seconds of each of those videos. I guess I got sick and tired of it. And where am I going with this? It's very early here. Yeah. So then appeared a term called passport bros. Well, first of all, the golden one. Yeah, I've never watched a video by the golden one. I do know that he's a YouTuber. Just to answer that because people have asked before. But then I went to the channel page and there's a picture there of someone with his shirt off and flexing his muscle. And that's not what I'm about, and it's a bit ridiculous to me. No. So, passport bros. And I thought, well, why do they call themselves passport bros? So bros, brothers, and group of men, I guess that means a group of men, right? Passport. Passport? Why? I mean, and I was thinking, so I have a passport and passport bros? What's that about? And then I finally, after a long time, and I found out that these are Americans. And in America, apparently, it's not always, well, it's less common to have a passport because it's not so common for Americans to travel outside of the USA. And I was like, what? And then I started thinking, during my travels, have I met many people from the USA? No, not many at all. I've met many Russians, many Australians, especially Australians, Germans, English people, and so on. But what I realized is that it's less common for Americans to travel outside of the USA. And that's shocking to me. It's really shocking. Now, I'm not criticizing Americans for that. I would probably have traveled less outside of the border if I lived in the USA because you have all sorts of nature within your country in the USA. So you have mountains, you have sea, you have you have both the Atlantic coast and the Pacific coast. You have lakes, big lakes, mountains, deserts, big forests. But I think it's unhealthy not to travel outside of your culture. It's unhealthy. And I will suggest that people travel. During Victorian times, rich people, they would travel as part of their cultural education, so to speak. So you had typically English wealthy people. They would travel for a few months to, France, Italy, especially Italy, to become cultured, right? So yeah, it's I think that when you don't travel outside of your culture, you're an easy victim to become one of the people in an echo chamber. And yeah. Now, it's not popular, what I'm saying here. I know that. It's not popular. And that's just how it's going to be here. I'm not going to be someone who caters to their audience in the way that other people do, and they because that's strengthening the walls of the echo chamber. I will be challenging you guys, and I will be speaking my mind, not the hive mind of the echo chamber. And I'm not an oracle, so I don't know everything. That's why I suggest that everyone go out there and read and educate themselves. Not by watching videos within the same echo chamber. Like it's like if the passport bros. So what that is about apparently is American men getting a passport so that they can travel to other countries and find women there, or a woman, which, given the current climate in the Western world, is not necessarily a bad idea, But it's funny to me that they termed it passport bros. What I'm trying to say here is that, well, doesn't everyone have a passport? In Norway, everyone has a passport because we travel, you know. What if the author of a book is lying or is funded to push an agenda? That's why we read books, not a book, but many books. And that's why we don't want to stay within an echo chamber. That's why we are trying to act like adults, and adults are okay with different opinions and looking at things from different perspectives. So yeah. Yeah, it's 6:45 in the morning in Norway. Yeah, their idea about the passport bros, it's a good idea, I guess. I will question the motives for some of these guys. Again, I'm trying to stop some of the ads. The motives to some of these men have, because there is this obvious thing, if you go to a poor country and you have money, there will be women there who will be interested in you just because you have money and can give them a better material sense, a better quality of life in a material sense, or at least that's their perception. And that's not love, is it? And I have met men who go to typically Asia to just sleep with like 20 women in 2 weeks or something like that. And so it's I think it's somewhat sad, but also understandable in some cases. I think it's sad that we have arrived here at this place where men feel the need to go to other countries, but to find a good woman. But if your goal is to find a good woman, I suggest you should first be a good man. Yeah. So I think in many cases that's where the problem lies. In many cases, and yeah, it's a big topic. It's a big topic, and I'm sure I will be talking about that on my main channel. So yeah, now of course, just let me finish the live stream by just saying a few words about what I talked about. I think yesterday, mpox or monkeypox. Yeah, we need to be prepping. Because I'll just say this because it's so important. We need to prep because they might close everything down again, and they might try to push the same crap again. And at this point, everything is much more inside the grid now, so it's much more easy now to close people out if they don't do as they're told. And we are then talking about getting a certain shot with some kind of unknown substance. And for me, I know I'm never going to accept that. So I do realize that suddenly I can be closed out of society completely. That's going to be what they will be doing, and it will happen very fast. It will happen very fast. And it really doesn't matter so much if it's real or not. Well, it's a real disease, of course, but the severity of it, it doesn't really, well, it matters to those who get it, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that the governmental overreach and the mandates and all of that will be the main problem, right? We know this, we have been through this. And because that we know this, we can't just sit on our hands and do nothing to prepare. So please prepare, because I think there is some probability that this one is going to be the next one. Could be nothing, but it's spread fast. They are saying that it's now in Sweden, maybe in other places as well. And when it's in Sweden, it will be in Norway, maybe already. So we will see, but it's yeah. Yeah. One case in Sweden, 40 in the US. Yeah, so we'll see. It's not so much about the numbers of infected people. It's about how fast it spreads, I think. And if it's fast enough, then they will implement these measures, probably masks and so on, and the shot. So okay. Jarle says, do you think the authorities should take no action regarding mpox? No, I think they should be sensible about this. And yeah, sensible. The problem is that they have given up the authority to the World Health Organization. So they will not be the ones deciding on what to do. And that's scary. And also, I think that it's very important to be skeptical about everything we hear, coming from our authorities, coming from media, coming from alternative media. When it comes to social media, it's very important, and this is something that people seem to forget about. You guys, you must realize, right, that a lot of the content concerning things like, for instance, monkeypox coming now, a lot of the content is made sensational to get clicks. Because they know that if they say something like, now I will be making something up, okay? I will be making something up. They will say something like, monkeypox is made by scientists funded by so the virus has been engineered and made by a satanic cult of scientists funded by Bill Gates, and it makes people into a sort of zombies if they get the additional shot, which will be called the vaccine. Yeah, so I made that up. But if I made a video, well, it wouldn't stay on YouTube, of course, but if I made a video like that, it would get lots of views because it's sensational, you know. Oh, here we get it. Gates equals Satan. I I don't know what to say. Yeah, whoever wrote there that I'm a disappointment, that's just, if you think that, why are you here? Are you referring to me? If you do, just go away. Just go away. We have a nice community here, and we don't need people who write that. Jarle says, I think it is important to support and listen to each other, even if there is disagreement about measures, and yes, hope that national authorities use autonomy. Yeah. Yeah, I should block them, but I can't see them all, and yeah. I can't find that comment now. Yeah, it's like I just made it up, right? It's just a joke. I just made it up. It was a mishmash of things that you can find on social media. And they make these claims to get the views. Here's another example. Okay. This would be an obvious one. Mpox is getting more dangerous and will kill most people who get it, or 9 out of 10. I made that up. It's an example. It's an example of a video title that would get a lot of views. Is it true? No, I just made it up. You know, this is how these video creators go about that. This is how they get views. You know, and my video title, or the title for this live stream, isn't going to generate a lot of views. It's not, because it's not popular. It's not sensational. Bigfoot. Yeah. No, okay. What's going on? I have to tidy up a little bit here. I'm sorry. I'll just quickly see if there is some. Oh, Jen, you're on it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I think the worst clickbaiters are mainstream media. I tried to read the news, but it's getting more and more difficult because I open a news website, you know. And to me, the way I do it is I read mainstream media. I then try to look at their agenda. Who's behind this? What are they trying to push? Are there some real news here? I try to read behind the lines, between the lines. Sorry. And then if there's something there worth investigating more, I then go to more secure, objective sources. But going to mainstream media now, it's just painful because it's so sensational, and they spend most of their time, it seems like they spend most of their time on just crap, you know, some celebrity who said something or did something, or and it's like, I'm not interested in that, you know. So, and it's so stupid, you know, it's so stupid, and clickbait titles all over the place. So yeah, you know. Now I'm going to end the live stream now. I'm going to get some breakfast. I want to dedicate this live stream to the people who unsubscribed because I said something that challenged their already established beliefs. And I want to dedicate it to the trolls who did come here. You're all hilarious. And it's good to see you go. We don't need you here. So yeah. That's how it is. Angela, yes, to all the trolls with love. That's how it is. Yeah. But to everyone who is still here, thank you for being part of this community. I will continue to challenge your beliefs in the future, as I am challenging mine as well every day. I think it's important to do that. We need to keep doing that. That's how we become more educated and hopefully more intelligent. Okay. Have a nice evening or day. We'll talk soon.